Hey everyone, it's Jennifer Sanchez. I wanted to jump on here because as I have been thinking about everything I've been doing, and sometimes I think one of the things I wanted to touch base on was public speaking. You know, public speaking is one of those things that it is one of the most terrifying things. I ain't trying to do all that right here. It's one of the most terrifying things that most people are afraid of. And public speaking, people are more afraid of public speaking than death. Okay, so right there, that in itself should tell you that public speaking is petrifying for a lot of people. And I think that when you can identify a good public speaker, right? Sometimes with me, and I've been speaking publicly since maybe 2013, 2012, or maybe even 2011. Because when I worked in the nonprofit world, when I started doing recruiting and outreach for the nonprofit world, I had to always do public speaking. And then I would run the financial literacy program too. So I was always doing kind of what I still do to this day: coordinate speakers, bring speakers to students, so I've always done that. I've always logistically coordinated public speakers. And you can tell a public speaker from a non-public speaker, right? There is a craft behind speaking publicly. And when you are at the point of, okay, I want to work on my public speaking, I want to become a better public speaker, there's tonality, right? Fluctuation in your voice. There's pauses. Like I say all the time, like I could be a real funny comedian, because comedians, they're public speakers. They are very calculated when they are actually on stage, right? When you think about a public speaker, it's not just, oh, I'm going to go on stage and I'm just going to talk whatever and say whatever, right? Because you will see a lot of people that are like that. There's a ton of people that will go on stage and they will talk, and yes, they will say what they have to say. But public speaking is more than just that. Public speaking requires, one, there's branding revolved, right, around public speaking. When someone is a true, authentic public speaker, they are very calculated with their tones, with their pauses, right? Almost like I said, like a comedian. They know when to do the punchline, right? They know when to, I love when I'm doing public speaking, there's also different personalities that come on stage. Like, I truly believe that when I'm speaking on stage or when I'm behind, and mind you, public speaking this is public speaking, y'all. This right here is, I'm speaking publicly to an audience, which is virtually, right? Public speaking is not just on stage, it's behind a camera, right? And especially being back around these media students, it's reminding me that they are doing public speaking all the time, these students, right? Because you are in front of a camera, whether you're doing news, whether you're doing sports, whether you are doing a documentary style, right? Whether you're doing radio, because remember, the program of the school where I'm at right now, they teach radio and TV broadcasting. So, one of the things is, and as you notice, is there's also a way in the tonality, the way that you speak to a camera, it matters. And why is that, right? There's hand gestures and body language that comes with public speaking. It's not just you on stage not moving. There's actual cues that you have to give and signs on stage for someone to know that you are a good public speaker, that you got people's attention, right? And I can go through tips and tricks on how to be a good public speaker, but public speaking is truly a craft, okay? And being, as long as I've been doing what I've been doing and coordinating speakers and bringing speakers, you can really tell who is comfortable on stage, who is comfortable talking to people, right? And this is the thing that I said on my show, or I don't know if I said it on my show with Delilah. Even when I do a lot of public speaking, right, my personality might be a little bit different when I'm doing my show versus when I'm on stage, right? There's different audiences that we cater to. I might talk differently here when I'm on video here versus when I'm on a stage. Because if I'm on a stage and I have an actual audience that I'm talking to, one of the things that I'm paying attention to is their body language, what they're doing, right? I can't see it through a camera what anyone's doing, but when I'm on stage, there might be a little bit of a different personality that I might take on. I might crack a couple of jokes here and there because I know what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring people's guards down when I'm speaking publicly, because a lot of times, especially when you're in the education arena, especially when you're teaching something, if you're on stage and you are trying to gain the trust of the viewers and you're really trying to tug at their heart and get some sort of call of action, you have to be able to break the ice with them on stage and know how to present yourself and get them to buy whatever product you have, or, you know, get on a one-on-one call with you, or they want to get to know you more, or they want to follow you on social media, right? There's an actual craft to that. And when I do my public speaking on stage, that's one thing that I do. That's one way that I carry myself. But when I do, let's say, like my coffee chat show, right? On the coffee chat show, that might be a whole nother different personality that takes place. And why do I do that? Because on the coffee chat show, I'm also mindful of the audience that's watching, right? When I'm doing the coffee chat show, I'm also mindful of my guest, right? Because if you think about it, people are terrified of public speaking. So when I say, hey, do you want to come on my show and let me interview you on my show? A lot of times people are terrified. They're like, oh my God, Jennifer, what am I going to talk about? I'm like, and literally what I say all the time is, don't worry about it. I do my makeup in the car. Don't worry about it. I tell them all the time, and maybe if someone's watching that has been on my show knows I've said this, I will take care of that. Just pretend like you're having a conversation with me when you're doing the show with me. And that makes them feel a lot more comfortable. So now when I'm doing the show with someone, I might be cracking more jokes. I might be a little bit more sillier. I might say some things here and there, right? To kind of just, again, break the ice, bring the barriers down, not just between me and my guests, but also the audience that's watching. So, right, public speaking is a skill. Public speaking is a gift. You can identify the ones that have been speaking longer on stages versus the ones that have not. And then also be mindful, right? If you are truly interested in speaking publicly, right? No one's perfect. Like, everyone's always a beginner when they're speaking publicly. Anyone that does any public speaking knows that in the beginning you suck, right? You just point flat out. You're nervous. You don't know how to take care of the jitters. You don't know. I still once in a while get nervous. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes, depending on what I'm doing for certain things, I might get nervous. So what are the little things and tricks that I do to calm my nerves, right? There's all these little things that come with public speaking, but not until you actually actively put yourself on stages and on podcasts and in front of people will you know what you need to do to get those jitters out, right? It's still very common. I mean, I still once in a while feel it. I'm like, oh my God, let me run to the bathroom real quick, right? I need to go do this. I need to go do that. I need to go drink a coffee. I need to get my mind right, right? But again, the skill of public speaking, it really is not going to get better until you do it more. Just bottom line, you have to constantly be putting yourself on stages, speaking publicly, be comfortable with it, be comfortable with a camera in your face, right? Understand that when I'm talking on this camera right now, right, I'm pretending like it's a person that I'm talking to, right? And the person that I'm talking to usually is I'm looking at myself, right? I'm looking at you and I'm having this whole entire conversation. And that's how I deal with the whole public speaking component. It really is a skill, but it really is very rewarding as well, right? It's one of those things that if you are a good public speaker, you can make the sales, you can make the connections, you can be able to build rapport with individuals. I mean, there's people, I'm telling y'all, there's people that will see my lives and see me on social media and see me here, and they'll be like, man, they feel like they know me, right? And they'll tell me that, and that's great. That means that I'm doing my job. I'm building relationships with my followers, with my viewers, with the audience that I cater to. And that's how you know you're doing a good job as a public speaker. Those are the little indicators, right, to tell you that you're doing the right thing. So, you know, I wanted to jump on because I was like, when will I have time to do this again? There really is a skill and a craft. And I love impromptu public speaking. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been doing this so much. The rhythm is the same for me all the time, that sometimes I could come up with conversations off a cusp and just kind of just talk about it. But there's a flow. And when you're doing public speaking, don't feel that you have to be rushed. You can take pauses, right? But people tend to feel like I have to over talk and talk as fast as possible. And this is what I have to say because I don't know what else I'm going to be talking about. But when you are in an actual, I don't sit there and prepare an entire speech to talk to people on stage. I just don't do that. What I do is I'm really mindful of how I'm going to deliver the message. Okay. I'm very mindful of like the bullet points. Sometimes I will think ahead of time when I'm going to speak publicly, like, okay, these are the things that I want to hit on the head. So I will actually practice or visualize what I'm going to say on stage in my mind. So there's just so many tips and tricks when it comes to public speaking, but I truly believe that I love to I love to speak publicly all the time. I love to share messages. I'm embracing the title of teacher, right? I've embraced the title of a coach. I've embraced the title of real estate investor. I've embraced the title of community builder and marathon runner, but I'm really going to start embracing the term teacher. But essentially I love to teach, right? I love to teach. That's the smart aleck in me. That's the Aquarian in me. That's the whatever you want to call it. I'm a smart ass in me, right? But definitely, I hope that this message, whether you're watching it now or watching the replay, just helps you a little bit. I just was doing my makeup right now, and I was like, you know what? Public speaking is such a great skill to have. And once you can master it, you can really dominate any area that you're in. Literally, like you want to dominate real estate, work on your public speaking. You want to dominate media, work on your public speaking, right? You want to dominate, whatever industry you're in, public speaking, really, you can, I've been told I have the gift of gab, right? If you know how to talk through things, talk your way into things, to public speak to people and get people to move just because of what you're saying, that's when you know you have power. All right. God bless you guys. Talk to you.